All right, what's good, Black family? With this here, I gotta share. I have to keep it on. I'm gonna keep it on my back channels. You can pass this video to whoever you want to. I just have to keep it off my main page on all levels. All my main Facebook, my main YouTube. I gotta keep off my main page because the situation that we are in is very simple, but it's also very it's very dangerous because we don't understand what this is really all about as a group. And as you come into understanding it as an individual, you start to see how imperative the proper use of secrecy is. Okay? But black people don't use secrecy, or shouldn't use secrecy, in the same context whites use it. Whites use secrecy as a way to withhold truth from people. Black people must use secrecy in order to preserve the precision of what it is we have to say. Because the fragmentation of our understanding of truth is more dangerous than somebody not knowing the truth at all. Because it is the fragmentation of truth that has been used to destroy our people. So we need to only share in channels where full reception will take place. This video here, you guys are going to have to actually listen to it over time because you may not understand it right away. And divinity and savagery. See, both of these words whites have assigned definitions to that trigger emotion. Okay? When someone says, I am divine, they generally get a feel-good, egotistical, yeah, I'm divine. Or I'm savage, or they're savage. They get an egotistical boost of, yeah, they savage, which means I'm divine. They savage, yeah. Both of these are incorrect. You see, the Caucasian is savage, purely savage. And the African is purely divine. Intrinsically, genetically, truthfully. However, mentally, Africans carry a hybrid mind. Mentally, the Caucasians know that they're savage, and they know that you're absolutely divine. And what their whole job is to throw fragments of your divinity at your divinity in order to confuse your divinity. Because let me tell you what divinity really is. Divinity is the ability to receive the full communication of energy as it moves in real time. That's it. That's all it is. That's why I got this whirlpool up here, and that's all you're going to see throughout the duration of this video is this fucking whirlpool. Because you must understand that energy is energy on all levels. Energy is energy on all levels. However, some of these levels are visible. Most of these levels are not visible. But all of these levels, work the same as each other. They're just on different levels. This whirlpool made of water is energy. Energy on all levels behaves as energy on all levels. Okay? What they have done is that they have gotten you away from understanding, right? And to accepting definition. The Caucasian does not feel this whirlpool in his chest, in his stomach, in his gut, in his head, in his eye. He doesn't feel this whirlpool. You are actually meant to feel this whirlpool on all levels of your existence from birth. And all black babies feel this from birth. All of us do. What happens is we are born into a society controlled by people who can't. What happens with this whirlpool? Okay, look, when something is thrown into the stream of this energy, it is brought to the core of the energy, which is the eye of the whirlpool. Okay? Your job is to get the eye to vibrate so high that it expands wide. Like this whirlpool here. It's wide. It's strong. It's powerful. The Caucasian's job is to throw fragments. And everything that they do, everything that they receive from you will be fragmented, because they can never be party to the whole, because the whole is only that which is the whirlpool, and it can only expand it. Particles will only collapse the eye of the whirlpool. The wider the eye of your whirlpool, okay, the wider it is, the more you can feel. The more you can feel, the more you can correct, because you can feel more of the problem as it truly is. The more you can see the problem as it truly is, the more you can correct it. What Caucasians must do, because they are absolutely savage, but they must rule you in order to even be here, because you naturally solve all things you recognize. Think about it. Think about in your life, whenever you fully recognize how something came to be, you solve it. So they must continually work to hide how they came to be, and on all levels, because they know that if we catch a piece, we're going to ride that piece to the eye and solve it. Us solving it, it destroys their existence. Think of how the body gets rid of a parasite or a cancer. It doesn't send any emissaries to go and shoot it. No, that's not what it does. What the body does is that it increases its whirlpool, its energy vortex. It increases the power of it into a frequency range that the parasite or the cancer cannot match. Okay? Big magnet controls little magnet. Okay? If something gets into the eye of that whirlpool that doesn't have the structural integrity to be there, it gets torn apart. So what they must do is to continually shrink the eye of our whirlpool individually, because whirlpools come together to form bigger whirlpools. Okay? And they all move in the same direction, but they don't move in the same way. Okay? Absolute divinity absolutely destroys and corrects and eliminates all savagery. Absolute savagery cannot exist in a world with any divinity. So this is why they must massacre animals. Animals are divine. If you look at animals, animals are always in harmony with natural order. Natural order is the greater vortex that we're in. Okay? But all vortexes flow in the same direction. Okay? They are in harmony with each other because they are not looking to destroy each other's eye. So if you look at animals, animals harmonize with plants, harmonize with insects, harmonize with other animals. Even predators and prey harmonize with each other. Okay? Your sense of time has been perverted. Like I say, this video, it's going to take you some time to digest what I'm giving you here. Okay? Even the format that I'm giving you this information, it's in sound, which is a flowing liquid format. It's a whirlpool. The very medium of text, it throws fragments into your vortex. Our ancestors were very careful with writing, and our primary form of education had nothing to do with writing, because writing is a static format. Static is the enemy of divinity. Okay, experience. Experience is the ultimate form of learning. Okay. What they must do is pervert every single thing that is true, and they only know what's true through to what you give them. Look at your schooling very carefully. They want your thought process more than they want your expression of your thought. Okay? On every level, they must savage your perception of your own divinity. On every level. And this war is vibrational, okay? Every child, every black child is born feeling the world. But you are introduced into the world by a savage, or a savaged black person who had yet to correct their vortex before bringing you into this planet. And black folks have so much trauma, like they throw rocks and boulders at our vortex. They throw grains of sand at it. They keep a stream of fragmentation coming at our eye all times. And in a lot of us, the eye is slowed down. Look, it never stops. Okay? All black people feel the pull of that vortex. However, by the time you're an adult, you've learned to not trust it. In fact, you are moving towards their rules. Their societal rules are actually not sanctioned by the vortex, not sanctioned by natural order. And there are going to be gaps in it. Okay? But the thing is, if you had your vortex on point, you would be able to navigate their rules, correcting them as you went in real time. But you wouldn't correct their rules verbally. You would correct them in your demeanor, your energy. When you move with this energy, the Caucasian can feel the righteous energy, though they cannot move against it. They cannot speak against it. Okay? What we must do is detoxify their fragmentation from enough of our vortex that our vortex becomes self-correcting. This is very different. Look, the concept, they give you a lot of poison concepts in order to get you to throw fragments into your own eye of the own. This is the eye of Heru. What you're seeing right here, the eye of, that's the eye of Heru. Okay, anything that mystifies it, anything that makes it go, oh, you know, anything that pulls an emotional reaction out of you rather than you seeing it for what it is. Okay, this whirlpool is energy at all levels, seen and unseen. Okay, it's the communication channel of your ancestors. Your ancestors only send energy through the eye of their vortex. That's it. Through the tunnel. That's it. Okay? As soon as it's closed off, you're closed off from that pure communication, the one that tells you the truth. And most people have an emotional blockage to certain levels of truth. We all do. But you must continue to push through and correct yourself to higher levels. And the wider the eye gets, the more potent the information can flow. You know, it's sort of like raising your bandwidth. Okay? The band is the tunnel, and the width of that tunnel determines how much information you can handle at any given moment. You are here to increase your divinity. And they are here to slow it down. It can't be stopped. They can just slow it down. And here's the thing. When you come back, when you reincarnate, like this is what I do as a child, but again, you're taught to just believe away. To believe is to ignore your divinity. You have to ignore this energy that's in your soul in order to be a believer. And in me, my ability to believe was always handicapped because my divinity was so high. Okay, I just didn't have the language. Who does, right? But I was always in my divinity, the ability to feel energy in real time. I could never ignore my ability to feel the energy. And here's the thing. Energy is always communicating with you. It's always flowing into you. See, there's an unseen channel of energy being drawn into the eye of that whirlpool. At the same time, the whirlpool is pulling in the energy of that water and expanding itself. There's an unseen level of energy being pulled from above the eye of that whirlpool into itself. That is how your chakras actually function. Okay, the heart is the most important because it is the channel that is sort of like the mouth is to the body. Or the ears are to the mind and the eyes are to the mind. All of those are energy vortexes. All of them. You have to expand these by being true to the communication channel, because to block any of it is to reject all of it. Once you start blocking any of it, all of it leaves you. The precision required to receive high information, high mind information, you must be true. See, when I listen to what the person is meaning, not necessarily the words that I don't have no definitions. I don't acknowledge any definition. Okay? So this what I do is I look to see what the white boy means when he uses his definitions. So I can tell when someone is trying to distract me from the truth by the use of definitions, or I can see if they're using definitions to attempt to share their meaning. I see the meaning only. It's an energy. You have to feel the truth without imposing on someone that which they do not mean. Okay? So I don't argue with anybody. I don't argue with somebody can speak to me, yell at me, and be as angry as they want to. My only concern is what do they really want to say? And I speak directly to it. I speak directly to what I hear as I heard it. And then I'm also listening as I speak to see if my reception of what they said to me is precise. That which lets me know is if it's precise or not, their energy. Energy never lies. Energy is never imprecise. And I have to make sure that my ability to receive energy is pure, because whatever leaves me comes back to me. So if the energy that leaves me is pure, the energy that comes back to me will be pure, and I have to make sure that I have expanded my capacity to receive it as it is. And how do you do that? You just continue to receive. Look at this whirlpool is just receiving energy, because water is energy. So it's receiving itself. You have to learn to receive yourself. That means you have to be a listener. Okay? You can't be sitting here waiting your turn looking to talk back. You have to be a listener. I am a listener. I speak precisely because I listen so deeply. There are things people see me do on the surface that they don't understand. But the understanding of others is never any concern to me. My understanding is everything. I'm here to understand. I'm not here to be understood. Okay? Divinity is only divine because it seeks to only understand itself on all levels. The moment you get out of understanding yourself is the moment you've turned your back on your divinity. In order to turn left, I must go away from right. In order to go into the savagery, I must go away from my divinity. There is no gray area. The Caucasian must slow down divinity in order to exist on this planet. Okay? And you are taught to see all truth egotistically, emotionally, savagely. when you start talking to the Caucasian, you realize that their energetic tone never goes it never goes a drop above emotional. This is important because if you are engaging in the emotional realm with the Caucasian, you are engaging in savagery with the Caucasian because you're ignoring your divinity. In order for you to be emotional, you have to ignore divinity. So what do? They do all kinds of heinous things in front of you. There are things they still can't do in front of black people. They know your absolute divinity. They know it. There are still things that your divinity will rise on if they do them in front of you. So whenever you're speaking to a Caucasian, they're typically testing your level of divinity by what they say. They're very careful. This is why they always move on you in forms of escalation. Okay? They don't go violent on black people from day one. No. They test you to see your level of tolerance for them. And divinity is zero tolerance. Divinity does not tolerate anything that hinders its ability to expand itself. We are systematically taught into tolerance through emotionally destroying ourselves to rules that don't govern, that are not sanctioned by the absolute divinity. I mean, here's an example. When you walk into a room, you're supposed to say hi. It's a supposition. I'm supposed to say hello. I'm supposed to greet everyone who walks in. I'm supposed to greet everyone, right? There are divine beings in a room. There are savage beings in a room. I am to mix my energy with divinity and savagery? Fuck that shit. But internally, you feel that energy. As a black person, you do. I started listening to my energy. There are some people I say hello to. There are some people I don't. I was doing this for years, and I didn't even know why. I just started saying, fuck it, I'm going to check out and trust this energy. You are taught you're taught against trusting it because they define it for you as a gut feeling. But they don't have divinity. They don't have the ability to sense this. You do. They know you do. But they know if you trusted it, it will expand and it will see past all bullshit over time. Because it continually grows on itself when you trust it. When you go against it, when you violate divinity, it shrinks on you. And to be in this particular universe without divinity is very dangerous because the whole universe is energy, and energy is a conversation with itself. Look at this whirlpool. It's a conversation with itself. When I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. When I'm listening to you, I'm listening to myself speak back to itself, to me. Because you will not understand this until it is you. Okay? You will not understand this until it's you. I didn't write none of this shit down. I'm just flowing. But since my divinity is so high, it's everything I say is mathematically precise. Everything I say is rhythmically precise. Everything I say is musically precise. That's not how it used to be. But until it was, I mastered the art of shutting the fuck up. Basically, that's all you do. Caucasians keep black people in a state of talking, in a state of teaching, in a state of giving comic relief, in a state of performance. To perform is to go away from your divinity because the energy may not want you to move at that time. So you're moving when the energy doesn't want you to move. You're speaking when the energy doesn't want you to speak. You're doing when the energy doesn't want you to do. It wants you to receive. When you are moving on divinity, when you're speaking in divinity, the energy is controlling your vessel like it's supposed to be. See, I need you to access your divinity because energy doesn't come out of the vessel, every vessel the same way, right? This water I can pour into a cup, I can pour into another cup that's shaped differently, but it's going to come out of that cup in its own way, in its own unique way. But you've been given the concept of reading books and memorizing what the books say and speaking to the book as if the book is what you're saying. I never embraced this. This is why I never really did good at school, really. Because I would always speak what I saw when I read something. I wouldn't speak what I read as if it was what I said. I would speak what I saw from reading what I read. And this drove teachers nuts. You know, when I would do math, I didn't write the answer down just to get a good grade. To do that is to go against my divinity. I only moved to what my true level of understanding was, and I realized school doesn't give a damn about your true level of understanding. They only want you to do what they want you to do. In your body, you have these vortexes on all levels. Your digestive system is a vortex. Your circulatory system is a vortex. Your everything that involves energy is only a vortex. This is so simple, but yet so complex to people who are savaged. Okay? When you start to access your divinity after a long time, you're going to have a lot of things to clear up, and you have to move on them as your divinity instructs you to. If you don't, you can't expand. And the Caucasian makes sure that black life all over the world is so savaged. And I say savage because they throw boulders and rocks and pianos at the eye of our vortexes. And they can only see these eyes if we give them to them. So they have us in a state of constantly wanting to be seen and wanting to be heard. So we are constantly giving them the trail to the eye of our vortex, and they throw bullshit in it whenever they see it. You must exercise absolute silence and speak only from your absolute divinity and only move on your absolute divinity. Because when you exercise absolute silence, you cut off the trail to the eye of your vortex. So when you see them throwing things at you, you will be able to correct them, and you will see the direct assault on your vortex. They won't be able to deceive you if you exercise absolute silence. Okay? When you speak from your absolute divinity, you will hear your own words, and they will show you things that you were not conscious of. As I'm speaking now, I'm still learning shit that my divinity sees that I consciously did not see. To attempt to control what you say, to think before you speak, that is a violation of your divinity. To perform against your divinity, your feel for the energy, to perform against it, is to violate your divinity. And every time you violate your divinity, you become more numb. And numbness is savagery. True feeling is divinity. It's really that simple. The emotions are given to you to project onto yourself in order to block your own divinity. All you got to do is tell yourself that you will speak, do, and receive whatever comes your way as it comes your way. There are going to be some deep trials, though. Yeah, because when your divinity is weak, everything appears heavy to you. When your divinity is strong, everything appears light to you. To get to this point, I had to go through a lot of hell. But to get to it, you got to go through it. Any coward can lie, okay? Treachery, deception, deceit, lying, that's the mark of somebody weak. Only the strong exercise divinity. Okay? This is why they only use weaponry to convince the divine to not fight them. Even with all of their guns and bombs, they still fear us because they know that there's a certain point that our divinity will take over, and it won't give a fuck what happens to us in this iteration, because we will be back even stronger. Imagine every lifetime coming back stronger and stronger, meaning the ability to feel your divinity from birth. This makes it more difficult for them to slow your divinity down into a savage form that they can control over your lifetime, to make you an automaton, right? to make you a battery for their system. So their society is specially crafted to go against your divinity at every turn. Because by the time you end this lifetime, they want you in a savage mind. A feeble savage mind. Because when you come back again, you will be able to correct what they throw at you less and less and less and less and less. However, the savage conditions they make black people grow up in their society are also serve as something that the boldest of us can use to expand. You see, divinity grows under pressure. You imagine being born with a 2,000-pound boulder on your chest, and it's suffocating you, but it can't kill you. It's just very uncomfortable. You always have the ability to grow your strength to the ability to throw that boulder off of you. Okay? Now you're walking around, and Caucasian children don't have these boulders on them. All right? But you got them on you. You got all these emotional boulders on you. And the Caucasian is constantly telling you to give up. To give up. Right? And this is why whenever they see you standing in the same position as they are, on your own power, it scares the fuck out of them. Because here you are, standing upright with them, running with them, besting them in their activities, and you still had this 2,000-pound boulder on your shoulder like it ain't shit. And they're like, if you ever knock this boulder off your shoulder, oh my God. You see, to be at the same as them, you're already showing to them that you're greater than them. You have to just show it to yourself. Okay? What they do is they'll show you something and then define it for you. Get out of definitions. Definitions are anti-divinity. Divinity shows you what it is, and you move on what it is, no matter what it is. Okay? That 2,000-pound boulder can become something that you decide to just play with, and you can crush them with it. Or, here's an analogy I like to use. Imagine you're looking at a brick wall, and you got the whole Caucasian race making noise at you, throwing things at you. And when you start to turn around, those hatchets that they're slicing you with, and those spitballs they're throwing at you, they become the most addictive thing you could ever imagine. They put the weapons away, and they pick up cakes and pies and spaghetti and lasagna. They pick up the classical music. They pick up the theater, and you go and see the opera. They're all nice to you, and once they've worn you down again, they pick up the hatchets and start slicing at you again. That's exactly what it is, right? And this is all to keep you facing them. Okay, so when you say, whenever you're about to just dismiss them all together, then they start to play nice. Whenever you start to buy into their niceness, then they become very aggressive with you again. And but they never want you to turn around. They never want you to turn around, because if you turned around, you would see the stars and the moon at your back. They see the universe at your back, but you don't see it yet. They see the galaxy at your back, and they don't want you to turn around and ever see that divinity. This is a test to see, can you still find the love frequency of this planet in spite of whatever they throw on you. You're going to have to listen to this video several times. You have to understand that the nature of energy is absolute. Abso-fucking-lute. And all compromise is a violation of natural order. And wherever you're compromising, you're blocking the vortex. And you must root out all forms of compromise within yourself, and then the rest of the world will start to align itself to you. It's very, yes, this sounds like magic, but black magic is the most powerful magic in this universe. That's why it's the most feared. You control the world by controlling yourself. Wherever you're compromised, then the world will fit your compromise. But you must eliminate all forms of compromise within yourself. And when you do, you'll see. And here's the thing. Energy shares into energy, shares into energy, shares into energy. You guys who are listening to me share my ass off and are not sharing your energy and experience back with those sharing with you, you are limiting your divinity by doing so. I share everything with everybody because I don't know who the divine are until their energy shows it to me. You have to get into this practice. You must begin to share what you see, what you saw from what you did with everybody who will receive it. And you must be mindful of who is receiving it and mindful of who is fragmented and adjust your behavior accordingly. But never stop sharing. You ain't seen this whirlpool stop sharing with itself yet. And you won't see me stop sharing with myself. I ain't on here for y'all. I'm on here for me. Because I gotta put this into the stream. Okay? I know it goes into the stream. And so as someone else receives it, their vessel is going to turn it over and share it back out, and I'm going to receive a deeper understanding. See, look beyond the eye of the whirlpool, and you will see a tunnel that's getting deeper. That's understanding. Understanding. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper as the eye gets wider, 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 and wider, and that's what you're here for. That's all you're here for. If you're blocking this planet's energy, she gets rid of you. And on a micro level, you do the same with folks around you. They dismiss their fucking selves when your vortex gets stronger. When your understanding is deep, deception can't work on you. So listen to yourself, listening to yourself about everything. Acknowledge everything, ignore nothing. Because to be in fear, you can only be in fear through ignoring something. Find out what you're ignoring. When you're angry, you can only be angry by ignoring something. Find out what you're ignoring. You're ignoring something in order to feel an emotion. That's what I'm saying. Emotions are due to blockage. You can't. If you have no blockage, you will have no emotions. And when you don't have no emotional response, this absolute savage, this Caucasian, he gets very nervous around you, but he can't do nothing to you because your understanding is too deep and your ability to feel bullshit is too wide. And your ability to expel his bullshit and correct his bullshit is too wide. He gives you even more things to create from his bullshit. Because your understanding is deep and your ability to feel the truth is wide. No one can stop that. No one can stop that. But it's a self-decision. This is all coming down to self. How do you end evil on this world? By ending it in your fucking self. Now get at it.